This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. The annual Catholic Appeal unites us in the mission to help meet the physical, spiritual, and sacramental needs of our brothers and sisters and to grow our church. Please donate to the annual Catholic Appeal. Join me in radiating the light of Christ and be a force for hope and love in the world. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it
Shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Steve Kiltonic at Pope Francis Preparatory School, where the Cardinals are celebrating their first D1 state hockey title. I'll have all the highlights from the dramatic win at TD Garden.
I'm David Martin. I'll have the story of the Young and Catholic Lenten Retreat, sponsored by the Springfield Diocese Office of Youth and Young Adult Ministry.
And I'll sit down with Deacon Andrew Hogan as he reflects on El Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James, and how this spiritual pilgrimage brings many closer to God. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel for this final week of March. The Diocesan Office of Youth and Young Adult Ministry hosted an annual Young and Catholic Lenten Retreat last Saturday at St. Paul's Parish in Springfield. This year, the day-long event explored the Catholic perspective on the connection of uncertainty in present times and anxiety over taking risks. David Martin reports.
Young adults from throughout the Springfield Diocese gathered in the St. Paul the Apostle Parish Center to worship, reflect, and mingle during Lent. The third annual Young and Catholic Lenten Retreat began with an icebreaker activity to become more familiar with others. The title of the retreat is Be Not Afraid. It includes witness talks on trusting God and not letting fear get in the way of faith.
I'm really excited for those. Mostly the witness talk is going to be Joe Austin, who's kind of the brains behind this whole thing. It's a lot about fear and anxiety, and that's very timely right now and very appropriate for this group in particular, right? It's kind of terrifying out there sometimes, and this is about how that's not what we need for our faith.
After the talk, everyone divided into smaller groups to discuss the topic. Group leader Alex Coverdale explained it is easier for group members to open up and think deeper in a more intimate setting.
Lent is based on prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. It's great to get together to participate in, especially prayer, but all those Lenten virtues together as a group and to kind of get that flame building and inspire others.
Father Sean O'Manion, pastor of Our Lady of Chenstohova Parish in Turners Falls, offered the second witness talk, Fear and Humility.
Most of our fear is of the irrational, demonic variety that limits our lives, and it often goes by undetected. So hopefully all of us, myself included, will walk out of here today just a little bit more sensitive, more aware to, the wickedness and snares of the devil as we pray to our patron saint, Saint Michael the Archangel.
Father O'Manion held a question and answer session afterwards. Group leader Caitlin Dobbs, the social media coordinator at the National Shrine of Divine Mercy in Stockbridge, believes Father O'Manion is the perfect person in authority to tell members of the diocese not to be afraid.
The theme, Do Not Be Afraid, I just think it's so appropriate, especially for Lent. One of the first things when Mary in the Annunciation, when she saw the angel, and whenever people in the Bible experience the divine, we become afraid. So it's really interesting to kind of flip that on its head, because God wants to reach us and he doesn't want us to be afraid.
Once again, the young people split up into smaller groups for discussion. Mass was celebrated in the church by St. Paul's pastor, Father Peter Ha Ding Dang. Dobbs encourages everyone to go online at youngandcatholic.org get the emails that come out weekly, and become part of the movement that Young and Catholic is building in the Springfield Diocese. For Real to Real, I'm David Martin.
And we have more now on how the diocese is reaching out to youth and young adults. Joining me is Joe Austin, Director of Youth and Young Adult Ministry, with a reminder on this summer's Steubenville East Conference. Hi, Joe. It's great to have you here on Real to Real today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Sharon.
Well, after watching Dave Martin's piece, it looks like you have lots going on, and I understand a few big events coming up for young people here in Western Massachusetts. Now, looking ahead to May, tell us about Joy Has a Name.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're really excited for Joy Has a Name event. It's our first big event with the Diocesan Youth Leadership Team, which has been meeting monthly since the fall. And we had a kind of a first event with the Advent retreat in December, and then this will be kind of like our first really big event. It's taking place at Pope Francis Prep in Springfield. It's open to all middle and high school students in our diocese and also in outside diocese, anyone who's interested in attending. Go to joyhasaname.org. The event will be, the best way to explain the event is it's kind of like a Catholic version of Saturday Night Live. So there will be elements of it that are kind of like a monologue or some skits. There will be some audience games. And then we're also inviting a very special guest, Paul J. Kim, who's coming. He's a comedian, a beatboxer, a speaker. He's going to be amazing. And there will also be adoration and some very lively music. So definitely invite everyone to come out for this event. It's also free, so open to middle and high school students.
Sounds great. And also later on in July, a return of Steubenville East. For people who missed last summer's opportunity, what will be going on?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're absolutely thrilled for Steubenville East to be coming back. Last year we sent 216 kids from around the diocese to the conference, which attracted more than 1,100 kids from as far south as Pennsylvania all the way through Maine. So they're coming back. That's the good news. We're really excited to be working with groups and parishes all around the diocese who are going to be sending kids to Steubenville East. And Steubenville East Conference is a 3-day conference for high school students, featuring a lot of engaging speakers, exciting music, adoration, Eucharistic procession, and just a really amazing time. I also just want to highlight that there are many conferences out there, but this conference really feels special from any other conference I've ever been to. So I definitely encourage and strongly recommend that every high school student in the diocese considers going to Steubenville East this year.
All right, well, it's certainly going to be a busy few months for you. Thanks so much, Joe Austin, and for anyone wanting more information on these and other events happening for young people, head over to iobserve.org for a link. What comes after a wedding? Well, if you ask internationally known Catholic speaker and evangelist Damon Owens, it's a joyful ever after. Owens and his wife Melanie have helped thousands of couples learn how the marriage they have can be the marriage they want. At the recent Lenten speaker series at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield, Owens shared essential keys to love, marriage, and family. Kathleen Harrington was there and has more.
The music of Psalm 33 kicking off the 2023 Lenten Speaker Series, Our Catholic Family at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament in Westfield. Guest speaker Damon Owens, a father of 8, ready to share some insight on the Catholic family.
When we look at our marriages and our families in life, everything looks messy.
Owens' familiarity with what happens within a family sets his audience at ease.
It's mundane, almost to the point where we want to put things off to the side and then get our stuff together and then be beautifully Catholic.
Married for 30 years, Owens and his wife Melanie and family of 7 girls and a boy look picture perfect, but he says ordinary marriage and family life is the raw material God uses to sanctify us.
Marriage and family, as it is a gift from God that is a work in progress. It's a school of love. It's not graduation. It's not about putting a certain mask on. It very much is about taking the mask off.
Over a 15-year period, Owens and wife Melanie worked with over 20,000 couples, preparing them for marriage, sharing theology, and understanding of what marriage is, the challenges of married life, and the incredible responsibility of family. It led the couple to begin a new ministry.
We founded Joyful Ever After as some ministry specifically helping couples get the marriage they want from the marriage that they have. Because there is no roadmap. There is no, here's what you do next after you're married.
Owens helps couples live their marriage with more joy and with the purpose that leads them to heaven. He admits it's a struggle to learn how to pray as a couple, and then just add children.
The prayers of family evolved over time. As a family and as a couple learns to pray, it's not so much just imitating what others are doing, but finding what works in your family.
Having taught St. John Paul II's theology of the body for 20 years, Owens advises, don't set false expectations. Trust that God is going to speak to your family in the way that you reach out to Him.
We look at other families and we see the best of what they are, and we compare it to the worst of what we're hiding from the rest of the world. And that's unjust. It's not true. It's not the right eyes to look at our family.
To compare is to despair, says Owens. Now, with 4 grown children out of the home, Damon and Melanie are grandparents, and family life has changed.
We've got some peace now as we've gotten older, and we've had some experience with the others, and now we find ourselves really just spending time, with our kids and being who we are, and giving them the space and the grace to find their own relationship with the Lord.
Owen says with trial and error and patience, couples, children, and families will find their relationship with the Lord, and find His grace and mercy will put order in their life experiences. I'm Kathy Harrington for Real to Real.
And still to come on Real to Real, I'll sit down with Deacon Andrew Hogan for his story on how walking the Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James in Spain, strengthened his faith. And a state victory for the Pope Francis Cardinals hockey team. Steve Kiltonic recaps the game that led to the team's first ever D1 state title. It's all still to come on Real to Real.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. The annual Catholic Appeal unites us in the mission to help meet the physical, spiritual, and sacramental needs of our brothers and sisters and to grow our church. Please donate to the annual Catholic Appeal. Join me in radiating the light of Christ and be a force for hope and love in the world. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
You are watching Real to Real, your window on the world around you. Here again is your reel-to-reel host, Sharon Roulier.
The Camino de Santiago is a well-traversed pilgrimage route dating back to medieval times. Legend recalls that the remains of the Christian apostle St. James the Great were mysteriously discovered at the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela in Spain after having thought to be lost. And for centuries, pilgrims have traveled the route, also known as the Way of St. James, for spiritual reasons. A new film debuts next week, The Camino Within, and follows pilgrims along the way, sharing their stories and profound experiences about how walking the Camino changes them in different ways. I sat down this week with Deacon Andrew Hogan, who has personally walked on the Camino twice, to learn more about how this journey inspired him and deepened his Catholic faith. It's a time to be one with nature.
Hear it? I don't know if there's multiple of those in the woods, and every time I come by one, they make that noise, but or something's following me. I can't see what it is.
And followed every step of the way by the Holy Spirit.
I feel so beat up and so sore, but you know, it's all good. Connecting it to the suffering of Christ is a beautiful thing. Doesn't feel beautiful at the time, though, does it? God bless. Day 3 of the Camino.
Deacon Andrew Hogan from Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield made a video diary during his 2 pilgrimages walking the Camino de Santiago to the Cathedral of St. James in Santiago, Spain. Inspired by the 2010 film The Way by Emilio Estevez and starring Martin Sheen, Deacon Hogan walked in 2015 as part of his discernment before being accepted into the diaconate program.
So I thought, what better way to go by myself to another country with just a backpack and a walking stick and discern, so that's what I did.
A knee injury prevented him from completing that pilgrimage, but in 2021, in October, he walked the 77-mile English Way. The Camino to Santiago is a 1,000-year-old pilgrimage to the cathedral where the remains of St. James the Apostle are said to be enshrined. Walking through vineyards, industrial areas, cities, and mountains. It's a time to be alone, away from the distractions of the world, says Deacon Hogan. He started with a heavy backpack with some unnecessary things, he says, like shampoo, conditioner, and hair gel, and quickly lightened his load.
And that's really what a pilgrimage it should do. It should bring you to a place that you haven't been. It's going to strip away the rest of the things in your life so you can focus on yourself and God, your relationship between the two.
Along his particular way, walking on a trail marked with yellow arrows or the traditional scalloped shell, he would pray, enjoy the spectacular views along the way while meeting fellow pilgrims whose stories he would hold dear. But ultimately, it was all between the deacon and God.
Has been just incredible to sit back and have that perspective on the Camino. To say to God that I'm going to spend time on this journey talking to you, learning about you, thanking you, and understanding you a little more as I go. And reaching the end of that and saying, now I want more. Now I want more. I want this every second of my life.
If you're looking for some Lenten inspiration, The Camino Within will play in theaters this Tuesday, March 28th. Produced by Ahava Productions, Santiago, The Camino Within is narrated by Bishop Donald Hying of Madison, Wisconsin, who leads pilgrims on the physically arduous journey.
St. James speaks to us of the power of witness. That the seeds planted by the apostles have taken root.
It's one of the few places that we can actually truly immerse ourselves in history.
It's about deeper intentions, thinking about our families and what about life is.
Incontrerai il cammino di Santiago. Perché? Perché Santiago era un apostolo del Signore.
Lo estoy haciendo principalmente por motivos religiosos, ya que soy muy creyente.
Great experience. It's all meant to be.
And that special one-night-only screening will be this Tuesday, March 28th, and can be seen locally at the West Springfield Cinemark. We have ticket information at iobserve.org. And finally tonight, the Pope Francis hockey team won its first ever D1 state championship Sunday with a 3-2 win over Xaverian, earning its fourth consecutive one-goal victory of this postseason. Steve Kiltonick has all the exciting highlights of the game from the TD Garden, home to the Boston Bruins.
The TD Garden, home of the Boston Bruins, was the setting for the Division I hockey championship between Pope Francis Prep and Xaverian from Westwood. If you were to put a moniker on the Cardinals during this year's tournament, it would be the Cardiac Kids. On the road to the finals, Pope beat Wellesley, Marshfield, and St. John's Prep, each by one goal in consecutive fashion. For the Cardinals, this was their third appearance in a state final in the past 6 years. In 2020, during COVID, they shared the title with Arlington. This time, the Cardinals were out to rewrite the history book and win the title outright, no ifs, ands, or buts. Coach Brian Foley felt his team would do well if they didn't get overwhelmed on the big stage.
Just, soak it in warm-ups, but just be ready to play a regular game. Like, we had a lot of confidence as a coaching staff that if we played our game, we played the way the kids are capable of playing, that we thought the result, would be a win, and we were just trying to keep things calm.
4 busloads of Cardinal fans, loaded with students, parents, faculty, and alumni, made their way down to Mass Pike to cheer on the Cardinals. Pope senior Grace Gustafson had the honor of singing the national anthem. Pope scrimmaged Xaverian in December and won handily, but in this game the Cardinals trailed the Hawks early and had to fight back twice to even the score. After 7 minutes of scoreless action in the first period, the Hawks struck first on a breakaway, with Devin Gosiak redirecting the puck past Cardinal goalie Nick Ritchie, who has been sensational during the postseason. Pope Francis responded quickly 2 minutes later on a power play, with junior Jake Jarrell feeding senior co-captain Josh Ivey to even the score 1-1 with just over 5 minutes remaining. A turning point came in the opening minute of the second when Xaverian earned a penalty shot, but Pope goalie Nick Ritchie made a great two-handed save on Joe DiMartino to keep things even. A short time later, the Hawks scored on a short-handed rebound to take the lead 2-1 7 minutes into the second. With the momentum seemingly on Xaverian's side, the Cardinals remained unfazed. Pope found the equalizer with 2:30 left in the second. On a breakaway, sophomore Nick Petkovic, the hero against St. John's, found senior Ryan O'Leary on a cross pass. It was 2-2 at the end of 2.
Going into the third period, the room was like, all right, the nerves of the first 2 periods are behind us. Let's just play a 15-minute hockey game here, boys, and that's what they did.
In the third, the two teams battled, with Pope Francis coming on strong, firing shots on the Hawks goalie, who made some tremendous saves to keep Xaverian in the fight. As the period drew toward a close, the action got rough, with both sides looking for an opening on which to capitalize. It looked like the game was headed for overtime, but with 25 seconds left, junior Mossy Kearney fed Ivy on the back post, and the senior drilled the puck across the crease into the net for the game winner.
The second I saw the puck go in, I turned around and started sprinting to the section. I knew the game was just about over. There's almost no chance of coming back in that situation. All I could think about was we just won the state championship.
I knew we were going to win this game from the start, you know. We've got a great season, great playoff run, outplayed every team, and I knew it wasn't stopping at the end, so I knew we had to take the championship home.
On Tuesday, Pope Francis held a pep rally in the school gym to celebrate the victory and to welcome the team back.
I think that the boys are excited to bring it home and show off the trophy, and they're dressed in their jerseys today, and they're excited to win this for us, for the school, and for all of the students.
You know, it feels amazing. We couldn't have done it without you guys, without our families, our coaches. Absolutely incredible experience.
The 8 seniors from this year's 2023 graduating class had a tremendous 4-year career here. 60 wins, only 10 losses, and 2 state titles. It's a testament to the dedication and hard work of the players and coaches. During his 20 years as head coach, Coach Foley has instituted a tradition of excellence and a winning tradition at Pope Francis, which competes against Eastern Mass schools with enrollments 7 to 8 times larger.
We came together as a group. A lot of us knew each other even before high school, so I think coming in was kind of always our end goal to win a state championship. You know, just being as tight as we all are, I think that definitely helped our chemistry on and off the ice.
Just a goal for us all through 4 years, and even in 8th grade going to the Garden, seeing them lose in 4 overtimes. It's just that little extra oomph to get to it.
It's been 70 years since a Western Mass hockey team won the undisputed D1 hockey title. West Springfield did it in 1952. For Pope Francis, the only Western Mass school to compete at the D1 level, the chase for that elusive goal ended last Sunday.
These guys know enough that they're playing for more than themselves. They're playing for their school, they're playing for their community, the whole 413 really. And a lot of alumni, you know, Holyoke Catholic alumni, Cathedral alumni.
Ivy and Foyle praised their coach for the impact he's had on the Cardinal hockey program.
There's no way to deny it. Foles is a huge factor in our success throughout the history of Pope. Great coach. He runs great systems with us. He never will never put the team down. He always lets us know our potential, what we can be, and then he shows us how to be that player.
He obviously runs a tight ship. He always lets us know that he knows we're the better team, and we just always try to go out there and make him proud, make the school proud, make our families proud.
No matter where these seniors go after high school, whether hockey figures in it or not, or what paths they pursue in life, they will always have this special moment to treasure. Their 2023 team will forever be known as state champions. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
While the Cardinals will graduate 8 seniors this year, they have a strong core group returning next year to defend their state title. Congrats to Coach Foley and all the Pope Francis players for their hard work and a fantastic season. Sure to be remembered for a very long time. And for this week, that's Real to Real. Before we close, we want to send our congratulations to our broadcast partner, WWLP Channel 22, who recently marked their 70th anniversary on the air. Their commitment to local programming, like our weekly news magazine, is second to none. Wishing them many more years. And head over to iobserve.org to keep up with the latest news on the Catholic Church here in Western Massachusetts and around the world. That's iobserve.org, and we are also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. I'll see you right back here next week for Real to Real, your window on the world around you. See you then.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.